In Washington, D.C., a diplomatic maneuver unfolds, revealing the intricate web of relationships and power dynamics shaping the response to the ongoing conflict in the Gaza Strip. At the center of attention is Benny Gantz, a pivotal figure in Israeli politics, whose recent meetings with top U.S. officials have sparked speculation and debate about the true intentions behind the encounters. As the violence in Gaza continues to escalate, with casualties mounting and humanitarian crises worsening by the day, the international community watches with bated breath for signs of progress towards peace. Against this backdrop, the decision to host Gantz at such a high level signifies a calculated move by the Biden administration, one that analysts argue serves multiple strategic purposes. The underlying message, analysts suggest, is one of subdued revenge, aimed at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. By elevating Gantz, who is seen as Netanyahu's domestic rival, the U.S. sends a clear signal of dissatisfaction with Netanyahu's handling of the conflict and his defiance of American requests for restraint. However, despite this apparent rebuke, the U.S. remains steadfast in its support for Israel, a fact that has drawn criticism from rights advocates and observers who decry the continued backing of a military campaign that has resulted in significant civilian casualties and widespread devastation. Josh Rubner, an adjunct lecturer at Georgetown University's Justice and Peace program, argues that while hosting Gantz may serve to express displeasure with Netanyahu, it ultimately amounts to a meaningless gesture, unless accompanied by concrete action to halt weapons transfers to Israel. The Biden administration's decision to engage with Gantz, who serves in Israel's war cabinet, reflects a pragmatic approach to diplomacy in the face of complex geopolitical realities. Matthew Miller, a State Department spokesman, emphasizes the importance of dialogue with key figures within the Israeli government, citing Gantz's role as a significant player in ongoing discussions. Gantz, a former military general, brings a unique perspective to the table, having led previous military campaigns in Gaza. Despite his position within the current government conducting the war, Gantz remains a vocal critic of Netanyahu's policies and a potential successor, according to recent polls. The meetings in Washington come at a critical juncture in the conflict, with reports of mounting frustration within the Biden administration over Netanyahu's refusal to heed calls for de-escalation and his rejection of a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Khalil Joshan, executive director of the Arab Center Washington, D.C., characterizes Gantz's reception in the U.S. as a calculated move aimed at sending a message to Netanyahu while maintaining the status quo of unwavering support for Israel. However, critics argue that the Biden administration's refusal to leverage its influence, including withholding aid or imposing sanctions, undermines its stated commitment to promoting human rights and ending the cycle of violence in Gaza. Amidst the political maneuvering and diplomatic posturing, the human cost of the conflict continues to mount, with reports of children dying from starvation and dehydration in Gaza due to shortages of food, water, and medicine. Additionally, the voice of Israeli lobbyist Rosa adds a new dimension to the conversation. Delaura, along with 5 other Democrats, squarely blames Netanyahu for the failure to provide relief to Palestinians. In a statement, they express deep concern over Netanyahu's actions, accusing him of moving towards the total destruction of Gaza and displaying an utter disregard for Palestinian lives. They cite staggering statistics of Palestinian casualties and criticize Netanyahu for impeding humanitarian aid efforts.